You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, super excited about having another great guest interview lined up for you guys today. We've got none other than the CEO of GPS Trackit joining us today on the show. So super excited about that. Ed Montez, how you doing this morning, brother?
I am great, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys have been a little bit of everywhere lately, especially in the lawn and landscape, hardscape contractor space. You guys are on a couple different podcasts. You guys are on a couple different YouTube channels. You guys have a lot of great things going on, and I want to get to the bottom of it about who you guys are, what you guys offer. We've all been hearing the ads, and I've been using the service now for a little over 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm loving it. I super appreciate the partnership with you guys. I super appreciate you guys investing into our show and even the greater green industry landscape space. But you guys have a really unique product that I'm finding, interestingly enough, that the more I talk about it, more people are interested in what you guys have to say and what you guys have to offer than I originally thought, which is actually pretty cool when you get to partner up with companies like that. So help me out really quick. Give me the kind of the 2-minute highlight, if you will, about who you are in GPS Trackit, and then we're going to kind of break down some things today because I've got a lot of questions to get through with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it, and I'm glad to hear that you're finding people interested in the product. Obviously, we believe in it and think it's a great opportunity for service businesses of all kinds, but particularly lawn and landscape. But yeah, just a little bit, quick history on the company. We're actually been in business since 2002, so about 20 years now. Sort of pioneers in the fleet management, GPS tracking space. Started off, I would describe it as more heterogeneous, like working with all types of companies. Sort of as you start a business, right? You're just trying to grow, and you take on any kind of customer that you can get until you sort of find your groove and you start to develop. Now we've been, we're actually a collection of businesses. That's sort of so since 2002, a number of businesses under different brands that were united in a strategy that we had to sort of build a bigger fleet management business, or IoT business, Internet of Things business.
Okay.
We acquired 4 companies around, started in like 2017, 2018, and finished up, and then have been consolidated and working, headquartered out of Roswell, Georgia, since then, and really focused on what we called services fleets. And just some like stats, figures, sort of thoughts, if you will, about the business is, so if you think we have just about 10,000 customers, I say worldwide, but it's really North America, Latin America, the majority of them being in the U.S. And about 50%, about 150,000 assets that are under management, meaning, whether that is a vehicle, some sort of powered equipment, or even a stationary asset that has some sort of tracking on it. And about 50% of those assets are actually service fleets or service companies.
Wow.
And of service companies, really, like I would say, it's broken up into a couple key categories. One of which is a lawn, landscape, green industry. So really focused on that space. We're about 200 employees. Sort of everything is developed in-house. We have, tons of ratings and reviews for people to check out the company, see our legitimacy, and even, some great, customer stories, and maybe we can tell a couple today.
Yeah.
But, some really interesting ones, both from, sort of how we help, sort of small, medium-sized businesses grow, become more efficient. And then also some of the great things that the software does and helps the community. So some interesting crime stories we should definitely tell while we're together.
I love it. Yeah, no, absolutely. And those are some of those things I want to break down, because I've heard the ads from some of my friends that have shows. You guys have been partnered with them for a while. You guys reached out, 12, 18 months ago and wanted to network and partner with us. I honestly said, I'm just too tied up. I said, I already have like my content calendar done for the year. I already have too many partnerships, like all going on at once, spinning like 19 different plates. My wife and I were pregnant with our first baby. So it was a lot. And then thankfully you guys circled back and we got to catch up. And my company had changed a lot over that last 12, 18 months as well, where we had added a second truck, a second, kind of like two crews kind of going. I got my one guy, Rob, and we got an extra helper with him. And then I have a second truck where I'm doing landscaping and of course with snow removal coming into this winter season. So I was looking for a product like this as we started to grow our company. And so if you guys are listening into the show, hang with us for a little bit because this is actually a lot more reasonable than you might ever imagine. I was thinking hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I was thinking, really invasive, got to take my vehicles in, all this stuff, like lots of overhead, lots of onboarding, a lot of time invested. I will tell you honestly, I'm becoming a user of this product to help share and promote it with you guys on the podcast on YouTube. And I'm telling you straight up, I should have adopted something like this years ago. Even if you were an owner operator and you got one crew going out and, a couple guys working for you, this has been a really, really cool product for pretty nominal monthly fee. We're talking 10s, 20s, 30s, $50 a month. Okay. It's really reasonable, nothing crazy. But the upside and the value that this adds, I'm going to go into it a little bit here because I'm seeing a lot of people adopting it. I had a gentleman just email me the other day. He's part of your guys' like demo process. He was a referral of ours. He's got the tracking units on his mowers, which I was like, I didn't know that it even offered that. And he goes, yeah, dude. He goes, we've got them on all of our mowers. And now I can track maintenance, uptime, equipment running, where they're at, all this stuff. So I messaged out to Isabella and I said, hey, can we get a couple for our pieces of equipment for our mowers? That would be really, really helpful. So we're going to break a bunch of stuff down here. We're going to keep it in a pretty quick package for you guys. We've got about a half hour. Before I go any further though, really quick, Ed, I got to say, shout out to your team that has been just running the show that I've been able to network with. You have some really, really good people. I'm telling you straight up, I'm not just saying it to say it. We have a couple ads that run and it's like super friendly, super nice people that can help you onboard and work with you and like low cost, no contracts or commitments. Like, you hear the ad and you're like, okay, cool. But dude, I'm working with the team and I wrote them down. Daniel, Isabella, Angelica, and Carolina. They have been just great to work with, from managing our account to actually getting the hardware installed to the other folks that help me navigate the website in my virtual office, if you will. They have all been really, really great, really, really helpful. So it's nice when I actually go through the whole process with, a product or service that we use and get to share or maybe promote. And it actually lines up with the messaging is what I'm trying to say. So shout out to your team back at, all across the country, actually.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm super proud of our team, and I will tell you, like, just philosophically, I've been, I've only been the CEO for about 2 years, so I came from a different business and was brought in by the board to sort of help grow and expand this. But my first statement, and when I came in, it was obviously peak COVID, and the world was weird, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, look, we're never going to improve our customer experience if we don't improve our employee experience, right? So, like, I philosophically, as a business owner, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way. It's like if you take care of your employees, they're going to take care of the business and your customers, and that's the ultimate thing that matters is the customer experience. I'm super happy to hear that, and appreciate the kind words. And I agree. I think we have a great team, and I'll tell you another point of view I have on this business. Again, coming sort of at it from just 2 years and looking at it from a different perspective is. The industry of it in and of itself, because there are some big businesses in it that sort of, sort of glommed on. Like when you think of certain wireless carriers that have this as a feature or as a product, the service is just different, right? It's sort of big company versus smaller company, and that's how we try to come at it. We may not be that small to some people, but we try and come at it like every account really, really matters, and every customer really, really matters. And service is a huge differentiator for us. So I really appreciate those words.
Well, I'll tell you straight up. I referred you guys to Caleb and Brittany Allman about 12, 18 months ago. They were using a different fleet management software. We talk with them all the time. They're another great couple friend of ours. We do a lot with them. They got the Kid Contractor podcast. And I said, hey, I told GPS Track, I don't have time, but I have some other friends if you guys want to advertise a little bit. And they were using a competitor service. I think that they have since canceled with them to just stick with you guys. Not because they're getting the service for free or anything like that specifically. Yeah. It's just you guys, first off, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there was a big, like you said, telephone carrier, and can you hear me now? One of those guys. And it was one of the deals where they're like, dude, we can't get anybody. We can't troubleshoot. And I don't want to put words in their mouth, but they were just a number, right? Like you had said. And working with your guys' team, it has made all the difference because like they can actually talk to people and have a great working relationship. So I guys, when we talk about companies or products or services, we want to promote and share stuff that we use and we believe in naturally. But it's nice when these people actually follow through with who they are, who they say they'll do, what the product or service says it will. So let me do this. Before we kind of go down the whole rabbit hole, I want to kind of just zoom out a little bit here because a lot of people know that we're talking about GPS Trackit. Whether they've heard the name or not, they do now. But here's the deal. What is this for? Who is it for? I know this might be a loaded question, but we got guys listening to the show. They have 1 truck, 2 trucks, 5 trucks, 1 crew, 2 crews, 5 crews, 10 crews. Most of our audience, 0 to $1 million, kind of a deal. Maybe 0 to 10 crews. So who is this product or service for? Is it for those smaller guys? Is it for the bigger guys? What product or what problem, I should say, is this solving for them? Like, where does GPS Trackit come into play to help them manage their fleet?
Yeah, so like our vision, if you will, and our mission is to help small, medium-sized businesses be more successful through fleet management, through Internet of Things, if you will, right? Because we want to go beyond the vehicles and, like you said, the mowers, the equipment, etc. Yeah. But that's the mission, and I will tell you honestly, we have, as I said, about 50% of the customer base is services, and a big chunk of that in our fastest growing area is lawn, landscape, and green, because we're really focusing on it. Mm-hmm. And in that category, we have every sort of, I would say, I shouldn't say every, we have many different classes of customers, starting from the 1 to 2 truck businesses all the way up. We probably scale to, maximum 2,000 assets, not just vehicles, but assets in general.
Wow.
People doing, sort of residential only, and people doing mixed use, people doing commercial only. So obviously the use cases are different, and we try and accommodate all of them. But I would say, we are very, very much focused on the service industries. And as I mentioned, lawn and landscape being one of the biggest for us. So we think we can do really well with that small, medium-sized business. I hope that everyone, or the majority, I hope every one of our customers has, similar experience to what you and your friends are feeling. And that's our goal. Like I said, differentiate with service, have a great, easy to use product. Importantly, as you mentioned, easy to install at a reasonable price with maximizing the success of your business. And hopefully learning along the way how we can sort of, increase our partnership, through either additional software features or additional asset trackers or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. But that's really the goal. Like I said, we're passionate about our customers. We're passionate about making the software easy to use. And then, the last sort of passion point for us is like, we're making our customers successful is the mission.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Kind of maybe another loaded question, kind of a no-brainer. We're just shooting it from the hip here. But what is the actual product or service that GPS Trackit is? I know people have heard a couple different ads, on a couple different shows. They're hearing it on our show, which is great. We did a really good YouTube video. I think it was actually a pretty fun video. I had some fun with it. I don't know if you happen to see that one ad, but it turned out really good. I was able to incorporate some different. Go watch the video, guys. We had a lot of fun with it. It wasn't salesy at all. It was super fun, super practical. I kind of took it a different direction, and appreciate the latitude there.
Accurate estimating starts with accurate accounting. In previous years, you may have been able to get by based on your gut feeling or rough calculations. However, this year, business financial risk has increased due to fluctuating and rising expenses. To ensure you are hitting your profit and cash flow goals, it is now crucial to know your numbers. The accounting firm Cycle CPA currently helps over 175 green industry businesses maneuver in these hectic times through a solid bookkeeping foundation, monthly reports, and continuous advisory meetings. Visit their website, cyclecpa.com, and mention Brian's podcast to receive $200 off on bookkeeping and CFO services.
What is the actual product that the GPS Trackit is for those guys that are new and hearing it for the first time? What is just brass tacks? What is it?
Yeah, so I mean, my description of it is like, look, we're a software platform, right? So we're a piece of software, frankly, and it's a service. But the software doesn't work in isolation. Not like something that without some connection to the vehicle or the mower or whatever asset it is that we're connected to, we need a connection to that. So typically, what the customer is getting from us, the experience the customer gets, it's a bundle, right? It's a piece of hardware or a small device. Majority of the time, more than 70% of the time, it's a plug and play device, connects right to your vehicle, and sends information to the software platform that we then, do, the simplest of things is just tell you where your vehicle is on a map, to, everything from helping you schedule maintenance, helping people schedule routes, stops, measure idle time, measure driving conditions, etc. And that's sort of the core use of it, I would say.
Yeah.
The base, so that's the base case. What we're finding more and more, and again, it depends on your needs as a business. But there's a big surge or big growth in, what they call video telematics, which is really sort of the device in the vehicle, is either accompanied with or is a video camera or a recording camera that gives you, sort of depending on your needs, either, a 360 degree view of the camera, meaning in cabin and forward facing and side facing, or it can just be road facing. And more, again, depending on, I think, the business location, miles driven, et cetera, insurance requirements, whatever it may be, we're seeing a pretty big surge in video. We call that product VidFleet. And it does everything, as you'd expect, things like show you the road, sort of give you a recording of events as they occur in the vehicle, or to the vehicle, but also, there's a version of it that has some artificial intelligence in there, gives you some driver assistance if you're following too closely, speeding, turning too harshly, etc.
Sure.
It gives you so it's kind of, and then, I think important for this business and this conversation is like, we also have, what we call non-powered asset trackers. So these are like battery operated, low cost trackers, that you can stick on something that, frankly, you either don't want to misplace, or more importantly, like you want to sort of control for theft or inventory or whatever it might be. Sort of a range, and I think that's sort of like, a range of tools or products, if you will, but all going into a software platform that is accessible both, on your laptop, desktop, whatever you use it, or your mobile device. And it really just sort of, gives you a lot of information about those assets, and how you can use that information to run your, not just your vehicles or your assets more effectively, but also, I mean, there's so many uses, and by talking to customers, I hear about so many sort of novel uses of the information that's in there. But like planning jobs, meaning, what's my route going to be for the day? Costing, we see people using it for costing. How long? I know that this is XYZ type of job at this site, and now I'm measuring the amount of time that my crew's in there or on there before they get to the next one, et cetera. And then I think there are some just great and important, cost controls that the system provides, and probably, none more important recently and currently than sort of, fuel management, fuel efficiency. So you can reduce idle time, you can control speeding, you can control harsh driving, you can measure driver behavior, and you can sort of set up a maintenance program, schedule maintenance, not just for a vehicle, but for other assets, your mowers, et cetera, things that need to be serviced on a regular basis. So great ways to optimize fuel, and more and more and more, right? Like it's kind of like you go down this rabbit hole of, okay, you're this type of business at this size, with these assets, like how can we help you the most? But that's what makes it so great and so fun to work here.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you said just keeping track on some of your assets, whether you guys have a couple different, skid steers and excavators on different sites, or you have a couple mow crews that are out and about. You can, instead of calling your foreman or calling your guys and saying, hey, where's everything at? You literally open up your phone. It's 2 seconds. You're in your virtual office. You can see real time if they're on, if they're driving, if they're moving. I have a couple toggles on. I didn't turn all the toggles on because I don't care about every detail, but I love it for maintenance. I love it for aggressive. I think it was like turning or something, and then also aggressive braking and acceleration. So, and okay, so that actually brings up an elephant in the room. You're tracking your people, right? I made a post and I had one person send a 2-paragraph, objection, and that's okay. Like, dude, on my content, guys, you can like push back. I want to hear on both sides. Like, so he said, if you're putting the stuff on your equipment, Ed, I'm going to tee this up to you, but he said, if you're putting the stuff on your equipment, long story short, he's like, you don't trust your guys. And if a company put this on my stuff, I would be finding a new place to work. My rebuttal, I'll give you mine, and then I would love to hear your thoughts. Mine was, hey, find me a company. And I'm not being a tough guy, guys. I'm just talking out loud. We've all worked for these companies too before. Maybe we started our own thing. But there's not a company that I had worked for, i.e. True Green, delivery companies. I worked at a medical supply company. All of their equipment, all of their vehicles, I mean, probably $1 million company or above, and I'm sure it's even a lot less with a lot of GPS Trackit customers in terms of revenue, but they had some sort of satellite navigation management, telematics, GPS tracking service or software installed in every single thing. Okay, this was in 2005. Okay, True Green and ServiceMaster knew where everything was 24/7, 365. And by the way, I didn't jump in a truck and go, man, they're tracking me. They must not trust me. I thought, hey, I'm driving an $80,000 tanker Isuzu. I'd like to know where that thing is. Are you kidding me? And if there's an accident, like, was the driver at fault because he's texting and driving? Or was it the person that T-boned us more at risk or, liable for the accident? So my rebuttal, and I said it, I wasn't like trying to be a jerk or anything. I just said, hey, dude, like, number one, it doesn't have anything to do with trusting your people or not. It's keeping an eye on your equipment, fleet management, maintenance, driving, the experience for the driver. Is he speeding? Is he going 82 on with a work truck in the fast lane, which we all know he shouldn't be doing? I said, if you just think it's about managing your people, I said you're missing the 90 other things that this service and product can offer. So, and I said, by the way, Cisco and Gordon Foods, every single semi truck has fleet management. You'd be naive to think otherwise. So maybe this guy hasn't crossed that road yet or that bridge yet to add it to like his company. But I said, you got to be mad confused if you don't think the 1 to 3 truck guy doesn't need something like this or couldn't use something like this if he really wanted to integrate it into his business model. Ed, your thoughts?
Look, I agree with everything you said, and I don't think it's a matter of trust. And frankly, like, if I were if my business were a 1 to 3 truck company and I was going to start tracking things and apply this technology, I would make sure to talk to my teams about that. It's like, I don't think it has any, generally speaking, doesn't have anything to do with trust.
Sure.
Right? Simply put, right. One thing is, like you mentioned, like your teams aren't always the ones that are usually not the ones that you're watching out for. Meaning, like stuff gets stolen, and we have countless stories of vehicle and asset recovery because the thief did not know that there was any sort of tracking component to it, and we can help people recover stuff.
Sure.
Sometimes, frankly, and it's faster. It helps the police. Like, it cuts down sort of recovery costs and insurance costs because you can get your equipment back. So I think one thing is, like, you're just protecting your assets and your business. And frankly, that helps you stay in business and keeps you the income coming that pays for your team and whatnot. I would say the same thing, like some of the things you mentioned in terms of just sort of managing the the fuel efficiency, let's just say, or the maintenance of the vehicle, or even the driving conditions, like before you get into sort of risk or safety, like the cost aspect of it, right? It's like, if you can save money on fuel, we have businesses that save literally millions of dollars. Obviously, they're more vehicles.
I was just going to, not to interrupt you, but give me a couple good examples. I'm sure you've got, you got 10,000, plus customers. Give me a couple good examples where you're finding the upside. That was my rant, but you've got to have some great case studies of, like, not proving this guy wrong, but just in general, like how this has helped people.
Yeah, for sure. So for one thing, look, we have this one business service fleet, like not in the landscape space, but I think it's an interesting story. Their business is sort of they work with road crews, right? So like they do the safety equipment for road crews and whatnot.
Okay.
And they have hundreds of like the flashing, I don't know what they're called, like the flashing arrows you see on the highway.
Oh yeah.
Equipment around that, Jersey barriers, all that sort of stuff. And then they have 145 trucks that gets the stuff back and forth. And look, their story is for 145 trucks on an annual basis. They think they saved about $1 million in fuel. And on 145 trucks, I forget how many drivers he told me he had, but they had 6 accidents that year, which they think actually is I don't know if it was a reduction, but it was not a lot, if you will, given the number of miles.
Oh, sure.
The number of drivers. And, of the 6, they were only at fault in one of them.
Wow.
Right. So
yeah, sure.
Savings. So, I mean, to me, it's just like that, the savings in fuel, obviously the safety aspect of it. And I will tell you this too, right? And I don't know if you've come across this yet in your business, but once you start sort of scaling, I think above a certain number of vehicles, commercial insurance is for vehicles is really, really hard to get and really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways to mitigate that expense, insurance companies will either provide you with like a subsidy or a rebate or a discount, if you will, if you can prove that you have some sort of fleet tracking equipment or driver vehicle. Even more so if you have video equipment.
Absolutely.
We know that, the other one is reputational risk, right? Like, I'll tell you, I have this great crime story that I want to tell you about that when I was thinking about this podcast, which is like the vehicle was used in a crime and had nothing to do with anyone in the business or the business itself.
Okay.
A former driver. Here, I'll tell you the story because I think it's a great story.
Yeah.
So they had a driver, company had a driver, made a spare key to one of the company vehicles. He went into their yard. So this is probably have like 30, 40 vehicles. He went into the yard, took the vehicle in the middle of the night and committed a murder. True story. Okay.
Whoa.
Used the vehicle in the commission of the murder, right? A neighbor woke up around the time of the murder and saw the logo of the parked vehicle. Now you got the business name in question and a description of the vehicle, like it was a truck, like a pickup truck, at the scene of the crime, literally.
Yeah.
Right. The police, were able to track down the name of the company, and since all the vehicles had our equipment on them, they could locate which vehicle was at the victim's home during the murder. They fingerprinted the vehicle, identified the driver, and placed them at the crime scene. This is not video. This is just pure acid driving, and solved the crime, right? And
wow,
it's the reputation of the company, right? It's sort of like, and there are other stories like that, that are fairly common, or just the recovery of the vehicle. But I think, there's a real business reputation too. If your name is on your business, or if your name is on the side of your truck, we always say, it's like, don't you kind of want to know, if you're not driving it, that it's not in a place that wouldn't promote your business or wouldn't give you a great feeling for, having your truck outside of
sure.
a establishment or driving a certain way, right? Like that's the other thing. So, we think there's tons of important savings for these businesses that are growing or trying to grow, from an efficiency standpoint, from a risk standpoint, right? Sort of the insurance, the driver safety issue, and then from a reputational standpoint, right? I mean, these are things that matter. You're doing business at people's homes frequently. Like, people want to know they're doing business with legitimate, outstanding companies.
Right. Could you let me do this? Because I want to. I'd love to extend an invitation, actually, maybe to have you back on the show a couple weeks, couple months. This might even be something that we can just double dip with. You guys have a little bit more time to focus on this kind of stuff during the off season, which is a great time to onboard, because you have so many funny stories and so many good stories. I want to hear more about how people are utilizing this. For time reasons, I gotta do a hard stop here. I gotta get actually to film a YouTube video with another friend of mine named Troy. But two quick things I wanted to tap on personally that just to, not to convince, but just to give some clarity, guys. Like, we have CCTV all over the place. We all have cameras. We all have stuff at our house, at our business, everywhere, right? we're not necessarily watching those like real time on our phone and like hawking over our employees to see like what they're doing in the shop. It's more of like, hey, if something's an issue later, let's go back, look at the tape and see what's going on. Okay. So I just wanted to cover that one more time because people, I had one guy, like I said, he was like pushing back, like, well, I wouldn't put this on my trucks because I don't trust my people. I'm like, bro, number one, it has nothing to even do with that. My guys were like, oh, you're tracking me? I go, no. They go, yeah, I didn't think so either. It's just if there's an issue with the truck and maintenance schedule, and of course optimizing routes. And you talked about the murder scene scenario, but it's also murder when your guys are at the gas station for 20 minutes, but you don't know that, and maybe you do just take a quick peek at the route, and you're like, you know what? Every day I notice this guy swings by some place he shouldn't be. You can put geofencing in. That was a really cool feature. Maybe schools or certain parts of town they shouldn't go to, or they need to stay within. You can get a notification. Like, there's a lot of cool little features like that. And everybody's business is different. That's why we talk about all these different resources. One other quick thing, because I didn't want to... I'm going to talk about this in my YouTube video. I got another video I'm going to do with you guys. But I have just personal story. I have State Farm insurance, and we have the little blue or the little white beacon. Some of you guys might have stuff like this with your insurance provider. And somebody said, well, another comment, great comment. He said, I have the State Farm thing. They give me a beacon, and it helps save me some money on my insurance. Would this be something I still need? Or was my beacon fine with State Farm? And I said, ironically enough, I have the same little beacon, but all that beacon does, and if you guys have State Farm, you got the little Drive Safe app, it tells you your driving route, it gives you a couple scores on like speed, acceleration, whatever. It's not fleet management, just my humble opinion. You don't get any stats or details on the vehicle, the engine, the idle, the hours, the miles, the speed, a little bit of speed, but it's entirely different. Okay. And so one thing too, you have to have that app on that phone to connect to the beacon. So if you have it and you're an owner operator, that's cool. But then you had your second or third or fourth truck, which was one of the issues I was running into because we have it on another vehicle, my second truck. But Rob doesn't have the State Farm app for the Bluetooth beacon. Right. So just it's similar but different. These are little growing pains that I'm working through real time. Hopefully that helps somebody out. But that's where GPS Trackit is a dedicated product, a dedicated service with those. I think I called it the ODB port, but I think it's OBD. So with the OBD port. So that was just my quick 2 little second rant. But Ed, I'll kick it back over to you. Any parting thoughts that you want to weigh in on, and then also where can people get more info if they want to go down the rabbit trail with all things GPS Trackit?
Yeah, GPSTrackit.com is where you can come get more info. There's a section dedicated to services, to field service fleets, and then to lawn and landscape specifically. I guess the other thing I would mention too, Dave, is that there's we've been focusing on sort of the information that you get from the vehicle or the asset or whatever it is that you're tracking. But remember that the software comes loaded. There's an entire field, what we call a FSM or field service module, that gives you additional things to help you with their business and enables other sort of utility for it, right? So like things like forms. So you can have simple forms if you want a driver to fill out a form like, hey, whatever the job was, maybe how much, a particular product was used, whatever it was, boom, click, it's done. They can do that from the mobile app and it goes into a central history record. You can use it to clear, right? So, hey, I'm on a job site. I'm off the job site. So now here driver's on and off. And you can match that to sort of the GPS data if you ever wanted to. You can dispatch from it, right? So there's 2-way dispatch. So again, maybe not if you're, in a 2-truck company, but once you start getting more trucks, if you want to move people around, easy way to do that. And then lastly, the one that the feature or sort of the use that I've seen the most from landscape companies, especially when there's a route like a mowing route or a service route, is this notion of stop alerts. Like you talked about, hey, like why is the vehicle stopped for 20 minutes at the gas station or whatnot? But just learning, okay, again, I don't use it. I don't think of it as a sort of employee management tool. I think of it more as a business optimization tool. How many routes can I get in a day, for example? And we had this other case study where someone added 2 to 3 stops a day, which is, I think was $4,000 a month, to their business. Right. So it's like,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's real money. Right. So, how do you like use the data? I'm always about, hey, how do we use the data to make it a better opportunity for the business? So same thing, right? Stop this. I'll stop on this one because I think this is a really novel use I've seen. Hey, I have these are my customers. I have them set up. You talk about geofence. I have them set up as landmarks. So each customer is a landmark, and I've noticed that my business is in these 2 neighborhoods, right? And I have great business. It's growing. It's thriving. But what am I going to do next? And actually, this one business owner used that data and said, well, if I'm in these areas all the time, right, so I have good signage, I have good word of mouth, good customer referrals in these areas, let me go to the next neighborhood. What's the most adjacent neighborhood? What does that look like? And how can I start building my business there? So starting to sort of expand their business based on where they had a great reputation, where their drivers were all the time, drop some flyers off, drop some door handle signs, etc. And actually grow your business that way. So there's a lot more to the software than just the data that's coming off of the vehicles or the driving data or the location data. There's actual things that you can use to grow your business. And that's really what I want to do. And by the way, that comes, you buy fleet management from us or you subscribe to our fleet management system. You get the device, you get the software, including the field service module app. So like no additional cost. You're not paying for a third party software or anything else. We're giving you some real business building tools there.
I love it. I really do think it's something that, guys, don't sleep on it. If you want to sign up and check out more, we'll leave a custom link in the description. Let them know that we sent you. Fantastic. We don't get a kickback or anything. It's just a great partnership that we've had with these guys. But let them know that we sent you. That way they can kind of track who you guys came from. They can track it, if you will. That was a bad joke. But one thing will tell you guys straight up. It took me 3 minutes to plug this thing in. It literally serial number registered to my account. My account showed real time. I was looking at our driving patterns for my truck and Rob's truck that afternoon. It was crazy. It takes 5 minutes to set this stuff up. A lot of it's plug and play. I don't want it to make it sound more complicated or fancy or anything that it needs to be. Pricing wise, I've heard ads for months. I'm like, why does anybody talk about the pricing? It's between $10 to $40 a month per vehicle, per unit. Some things are more, some things are less. It's a little bit dynamic, but it's not $500 or $1,000 a vehicle. Okay, that was one of my questions. Like, is this like $10? Like easy? Like, yeah, let's just add it. It's a nominal cost, or is it $5,000 and I got to sign up with a 3-year contract? Nothing like that. At least not my experience so far. So I think, by the way, if you guys want to do a demo, if you guys want to have a trial period, I don't even know if they offer that, but I know a couple people are going through that on-ramp process right now. Long story short, they will work with you. They want to earn your guys' business. I've had nothing but great feedback from the people that have been signing up. So I'm just telling you guys straight up, nothing but great feedback. If you guys got some great feedback or you guys are adopting the service, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. Let me know how it's working for you. And we can share those stories later on the podcast or on YouTube to help the next guy out. So Ed, super appreciate the time, brother. This is awesome. Anything else you got for us? But if not, we'll kind of button it up right here.
No, I think that's great. I appreciate the time and talking about the business and Josh, I just echo your statement. Like, if you have a thought about something you'd like to, that you think that we might be able to help you with, call us, contact us on the website. There's also chat opportunity, whatever works for you. I think, we're more than willing to use our experience to see how we can help you. And I think that there's a price point, for, different sizes fleets, different sizes equipment, for everyone, and a contract term for everyone, et cetera. So like,
cool.
We're not we're not a square peg into or round peg into a square hole. I don't know how that, whatever that saying is.
I got you.
We're really about trying to provide a solution to our customers. That, again, as I'd stressed it, like, the only way we win, the only way that we grow is by helping our customers grow. You go from 2 trucks to 20 trucks, and like, boom, our business grows right along with you. And that's success to me. So
I love it. Well, guys, check out the link in the description. Check out the YouTube video that I think we should be dropping same day when this podcast comes out, or shortly thereafter. We'll maybe even try to leave a link in the description for that YouTube video that I did, if you guys want to watch it on mobile. It was a short 5 or 6 minute video. I had a lot of fun with it. I got a 14-month-old daughter, Ed, and she has a little cityscape like carpet, and we've had a bunch of toys sent to us. We had like a little somebody made me a little die-cast truck version of my truck, like literally looks like my truck. A little skid steer. I think we had a little excavator in there, and so I was just joking and having some fun with my kid's toys, if you will, but just kind of proving like, hey, you can watch this stuff all around town, and it was actually pretty fun. So yeah, that's what we got for you guys today. Not a hard sell by any means. As your business grows, guys, keep an open mind with software and solutions like this. There's a reason they exist. There's a reason every 10, 50, 100 million and billion-dollar company has this stuff integrated into their fleet and their equipment. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you ever drive by or drive down the road and you see any service van that you know of a reputable big name company, look on top of the roof. They got a white dome. And that white dome is their telematics software system typically. And that's outside of what you don't see in the ODB port or whatever it's called, or OBD port. So every vehicle that you drive by, every semi, they have something like this. And I was shocked to learn how nominally priced it is to actually keep up on your equipment and your vehicle. So go down the rabbit hole. Go to the website, gpstrackit.com, check it out, get some more info, see if it's for you, do a trial, or get a couple pieces of hardware, see if it makes sense for you guys. If so, great. If not, no big deal. But I think you guys might be pleasantly surprised after you check out the software and the system. So all right, well, that's what I got for you guys on today's podcast and episode. Ed, thanks so much for being on the show, brother. We super appreciate you. And that's what we got for today, guys. We look forward to catching up with you here on the next one.
Are the increasing labor, fuel, and material expenses affecting your bottom line? In order to battle against these fluctuating market factors, it's important to understand your numbers and shift your strategy if needed as the economy changes. Having a team to handle the bookkeeping and CFO services will help you stay ahead of these changes. The team at Cycle CPA provides reports on a monthly basis to ensure you are making a profit and hitting your goals. Comparing your reports to past periods, green industry benchmarks, and comparing between service lines will help to underline areas that need to be improved on for the next period. Visit their website, cyclecpa.com, and mention Brian's podcast to receive $200 off on bookkeeping and CFO services. Marty here with one more reminder before we wrap everything up, and that is about the Black Friday sales that are coming to LaunchpreneurAcademy.com. Yes, our biggest, baddest, best sales of the year over that weekend of Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Make a little note on your phone, set a reminder to check out LaunchpreneurAcademy.com for big savings.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.